Photo Beast. I'm here, with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Tuesday, January 8th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure to click the subscribe button below. This week, I'll watch all of our NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our site here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups, and we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So hey, how you doing out there, Jeremy?
Yo, what's up, man? I'm good. We're back at it. Hopefully, we'll be back at it more consistently. Got tools we're breaking out. We've been working in the background, so be on the lookout for that stuff. We have a new matchup tool that's going to continue to get better. You can come check out DVP, check out what a player averages versus the specific opponent he's up against, what his projected minutes are. We'll also be plugging in projected ownerships with the new ownership tool we have as well. So make sure you check out the matchup tool within the optimizer, and also our starting lineups page has a ton of info on it as well. Truly, all of the tools you need to compete with the pros every single day.
Yeah, man. So, I'm ready just to jump into this eight-game slate, get it done. We got some injury news that we're definitely waiting on early in the morning. But before we do, if you guys don't mind, please take that quick second for me. Click the like button down below. Helps me out. Really appreciate that from you guys. Yeah, man, I'm just ready to jump into it. So the first game we're going to go with is going to be the Indiana Pacers going into Cleveland to face the Cavs. This game has a 207.5 over-under, and Indiana's favored by 10 in this one.
Yeah, so obviously we're waiting on Miles Turner, DNP yesterday, Darren Collison, game time decision. Both those guys game time decisions today. I believe Corey Joseph is also on that list as well as a game time decision. So really what you're looking at is you're waiting on injury news on the Indiana side of things. So Miles Turner, obviously Sabonis would probably slide into the starting spot like he did yesterday. He would become a premier play at 7,100 on this slate. Victor Oladipo would receive an enormous usage boost without a Collison and a Joseph. He actually does get a huge bump with Miles Turner off the floor as well. So, Oladipo at 9.2 price point would receive an enormous usage boost. And that's really the only thing that I'm looking at on this side. It's a 10-point spread. They got a 108.75 implied total. This is not a place on this slate that I'd be looking to really attack if it wasn't for the value or potential value that could come up here, or the usage bumps. You could also take a look at a guy like a Tyreek Evans. If all three guys were to be ruled out, they would be have a shorter rotation. So you could take a look at them. And then, if Turner does sit, you could tournament flyer on a Kyle O'Quinn. We've seen this guy in the past in New York have double games in spots just like this before. So if you want to take a tournament flyer on him, I wouldn't have a problem with that if Miles Turner is in fact ruled out. But Oladipo is the guy. Sabonis is also the guy who benefit if these guys sit.
Yeah, man, on the Cleveland side of things, it's the obvious guys. You can look at Colin Sexton. He's been playing pretty well on the season. The thing about him for me is he's just not really giving us too much upside. That's the thing. On a 5.3 price tag, we need about 26 for value. And in the past 5 games, he got us 26 one time. So for me, I'm not really going to be looking at Colin Sexton. You can look at Jordan Clarkson. He always has upside. You got Nwaba's out, Rodney Hood's out, so Clarkson definitely gets a boost. The guy I'm really going to be looking at, though, is Alec Burks. This guy has 40 fantasy point upside. We know that. He's shown us that already a couple times this season. He's playing the minutes, and he's a guy, when he gets minutes, he usually produces. 4,500 is a very, very good price tag. We need 22 for him to hit value. I really like Alec Burke in this spot. He's my favorite player on the Cavs side of things. You can also throw in Cedi Osman. He's under 5,000. We're talking about everybody's banged up, and so he's playing 30 minutes a game right now. He's getting the minutes, and he has a little bit of upside on this price tag. He doesn't have a monster 50 fantasy point upside, but on a 4.9 price tag, you need 25 for value. He could get us 35, which will be 7x. So I think that he's definitely in play in tournaments. He's going to be low owned. Larry Nance Jr., his price came down a little bit, but his production has came down as well. Now that you got Tristan Thompson back, he's not playing the big man role anymore. Tristan Thompson's taking away some rebounds, taking away some minutes. And then, you could throw in Tristan Thompson, 6,200. The guy before he got hurt, he was playing well. They're working him back in. The guy has double upside any night, so you could consider him. But I think the main guy that I'm really going to be looking at on the Cleveland side of things is Alec Burks at 4,500.
Moving on.
Moving on to the next game, we're going to go with the Washington Wizards going into Philadelphia to face the 76ers. This game has a 228.5 over-under, and Philadelphia is favored by 9 in this one.
Man, 9.8 is steep on Brad Beal. It's just steep. I mean, there's other – I think that, it feels like I've said this before, but the prices across the board on these Washington players are really steep. If I'm looking at salary across the slate and where I want to spend it, 9.8 for Brad Beal. Do I want to spend 9.8 at that shooting guard number 1 spot, or would I rather spend up at point guard number 1? That's a deciding factor on the slate. Where is the pay up spot? Where are the pay down spots? And 9.8 for me is not intriguing. I do understand there is no John Wall. I do understand the minutes are up, the production is up. But if I'm going to target Washington, there's some ancillary pieces that I like as well on this side. Satoransky playing upwards of 34 minutes basically at 6.3 is a really fair price on him, as opposed to paying 9.8 for kind of the same amount of minutes and a little less production, obviously, between Beal and Satoransky. But the guy that I'm the most interested in, and the biggest news for me, I played Porter the last couple of slates when he got his minutes bumped. He's at 4.9, coming off a monster 40-point fantasy game the other night. 4.9, and the news that's out today is that he will not have a minutes restriction today. This is the Otto Porter. Shots are up, minutes are up. There's no John Wall. He's really playing the power forward spot. The 76ers have struggled with power forwards all year long. It's been a spot you can attack with them. The number 1 target for me on this Washington side is Otto Porter Jr. in a really good spot.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that play. On the Philadelphia side of things, I mean, the past couple of games, Jimmy Butler was out, so it was giving a big-time boost to everybody else, Ben Simmons, Redick, Joel Embiid, etc. Now it's looking like, the Jimmy Butler is going to play. He practiced yesterday, so this kind of gives everybody a little bit of a bump down just because the usage is going to go down a little bit. He's your third-best player, obviously. When you got 3 good players on a team compared to 2 playing at the same time, everybody's going to try to get there. So the ball's going to be a little bit more out of Ben Simmons, out of Joel Embiid's hands. I definitely think that you can still look at both of those guys in GPPs. I just don't know if I like the price tag with Jimmy Butler back in the mix. If I had to choose between Simmons or Embiid, I probably would have to go with Embiid just because, Embiid is a big guy, and he's at the end of the day their best player. The guys are playing very well on the season. He's gobbling up rebounds, double machine every single night, playing good defense. So I definitely think that you can still look at Embiid a little bit more in cash games. I just don't know if he's a guy I want to pay up for on this slate. Jimmy Butler, 8,000. The price tag is up. This is not a give me price tag for him. And he hasn't really been paying off these price tags. We need about 40 for him to hit value. And if you look at his game log, past 7 games, he hasn't been doing the best. So I'm not going to pay this price tag for Jimmy Butler. JJ Redick, his price tag is actually starting to creep up a little bit as well. 5,700. We need about 27 for value. He's had really good games in 3 of the past 4 games, but you got to remember that 2 of those games, Jimmy Butler was out. Like I mentioned, now Jimmy Butler is going to come back and get some extra shots and take away from JJ Redick. McConnell's out the mix now with Jimmy Butler back. Honestly, on this Philadelphia side of things, these guys are all priced right, and I'm not really looking at too many Philadelphia guys. They are in some good spots, but the prices are not giving me price tags. You got to take out the value off the slate now for Philadelphia with Butler. So, you can look at a couple of their guys, for GPP, Simmons, Embiid, Butler, Redick. But I'm not really too interested in the Philadelphia side of things tonight.
Bro, if we had a studio, we're sophisticated with radio production stuff, I would have cued the Britney Spears song, Oops, I Did It Again, because what's up with your boy Jimmy Buckets, man? He's doing it again in Philadelphia. This dude unhappy, causing drama. What's up with your boy?
I don't know, bro. I just don't understand. I honestly don't understand. Okay, I understand what he was saying in Minnesota. He was saying Towns, Wiggins, they were young. They were not they were not taking the game serious, etc. But then now he goes to a Philadelphia team that have two really good players in Embiid and Simmons, and yeah, he's calling drama again. I don't honestly don't understand, like, what's it gonna take for this guy to just shut up and just play basketball? Like, I don't understand. Like, what do you think is going on?
I thought this was a stupid trade. Remember, I said it in the very beginning that I didn't get it because they had like a pick and roll thing going on with the knockdown shooter and JJ Redick, and I just didn't understand what the deal was with getting Jimmy Butler. That's the deal, and that's exactly what he's complaining about. It's pretty much the same thing. The guy wants to go somewhere where the offense is centered around him, and that's what he had when he was in Chicago. We saw him go absolutely bonkers a couple times in Chicago. Really playing the point forward spot, right? And I think that's what he wants to do again. He just wants the ball in his hands. And I think that what I read, that was the complaints, that he doesn't understand why the offense isn't centered more around him, and Brett Brown needs to do a better job getting him involved, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but the thing is like, he's not even the best player on that team,
Jimmy Butler, hold on. Joel, you talk about skill wise, or are we talking about scoring wise? Because the best pure scorer on that team is Jimmy Butler. The guy's a pure scorer. That's a problem.
I'm just talking about overall.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's not. Joel Embiid's obviously the best player on that team, but as far as just a scorer, the guy get you buckets.
Right. I get that. But if you've seen already, whenever it's crunch time down the lane, they need a shot. I mean, they've been going to Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like personally, me, I would rather take Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler. I mean, the upside is once Ben Simmons learns how to shoot the ball, the dude's going to be a triple-double machine every single night. It's just going to be ridiculous.
I wish they just sent Jimmy Butler to like Brooklyn or the Knicks and just let him just.
Well, that's the thing like we're talking about is if he wants to be the man and do like what you're saying, it makes sense. But if he wants to be that, he's gonna have to go to a sorry team.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, do you want to sacrifice and have a chance to win a championship, or you just want to worry about your name and your numbers? Is what it really comes down to.
I mean, Victor Oladipo is like a poor man's Jimmy Butler. That's how I look at the two. Jimmy Butler could go to a similar situation with a group of guys that were skilled basketball players, but nobody was a primary option,
right?
And he would thrive.
Right. No, for sure. I get you. All right, so let's move on. Next game we're going to go to, it is going to be the Atlanta Hawks going into Toronto to face the Raptors. This game has the 228.5 over under, and Toronto is favored by 14 in this one.
Yeah, I don't know what to talk about here on the Atlanta side, bro. There's not a lot that I want to target. I mean, John Collins at 8.4 is a little steep on this slate for what he's been doing recently as well. Trae Young, just too inconsistent for me to want to play him against a very sound defensive team in Toronto. The center position, you talk about Dedmon, Alex Len, both these guys are priced up because both of them are splitting minutes. You want to take a flyer on somebody, maybe take a flyer on Jeremy Lin at 4.6. This game blows out. Jeremy Lin comes in, eats up minutes, scores the basketball. He's a really good, we all know Jeremy Lin's a very good scorer, but he just doesn't get any real minutes in meaningful situations. So, if you want to say the game's going to blow out, I'll punt with Jeremy Lin at 4.6 to get some exposure to this. I guess I'm okay with that. Herter's starting to play really solid basketball, and he could be looked at in tournaments only at 5,000. But the problem I have here is that just from a skill standpoint, I don't think Atlanta has players that are skilled enough to get open shots, to knock down shots against this Toronto team defensively. You got elite defenders over here in Ibaka and Leonard and Danny Green. I mean, these guys are elite defenders. They've got really good perimeter defenders. So I just don't really want much exposure to Atlanta.
Yeah, man. I mean, on the Toronto side of things, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to take the easy way out, but the Toronto side of things is pretty much a fade for me because I feel like at home, they're just going to whoop Atlanta's ass. I mean, that's my honest opinion. If I was going to look at anybody on the Toronto side of things, I think you go right back to the well and you go with your man Van Fleet. They're figuring out a way to get Van Fleet 30 minutes a game, one way or another. He's been getting the minutes. He has a little bit of upside. 5.4, we need about 20, about 26, 27 for value. And he's regularly been in the 20s. So I think he's giving you a solid floor. But I think even him, I mean, if he's going to come off the bench because, Lowry's going to play today, Leonard's going to play today, I actually think that's a little bit better for Van Fleet because this game could get into a blowout quickly. Now he's going to be into the bench reserved role today. So he'll come in and get a little bit of garbage time. So I think that Van Fleet is possibly in play, but I just don't know how much I really like Toronto as a whole in general.
Yeah, the one guy that I would be interested in playing here on the Toronto side is Norman Powell at 3.9. I think that if this game does blow out, he'll get extended run, could play 24 minutes or so at a 3.9 price tag. So that's probably one guy. I'm okay with Van Vliet as well if you want to punt on that, but I just can't create an opportunity to put him in my point guard 2 on an 8-game slate coming off the bench. Hard, it's rough. Tournament only option, but I guess I'm okay with it.
Yeah. No, for sure. So we'll just move on to the next game. Next game we're gonna go with is gonna be Denver going into Miami to face the Heat. This game has a 211 over under. Miami's favored by 1.5. Hey, bro, did you see Harden drop Jamal Murray yesterday?
Bro, am I the only one that thought that was an offensive foul?
He pushed off.
Am I the only one? And then here's the fucked up thing about it, right? This is the world we live in with social media. All over social media, I even got an alert from ESPN on my phone talking about how Harden just shook Jamal Murray out of his shoes and dropped him on the floor. Dude, that was an offensive foul.
Right.
I mean, Steph Curry, bro, you have to give Curry credit for flashing up the 13 on his jersey when he got called for the step back travel the other night because, I mean, I understand it was fresh off that loss to Houston and James Harden gets a lot of calls. But,
yeah, but he did the exact same move.
He did the exact same move, dude. He did the exact same move. So, yeah, I saw it. Look, I think James Harden's a phenomenal basketball player. I don't want to get too far off track here, but enough's enough, man. The he's getting every possible call and every no call. Enough's enough.
I think they actually called a defensive foul on that play.
I don't think they called any foul because the highlight I saw, Harden took off, unless there was a timeout right after it. Harden took off down the floor, just doing what Harden does.
Yeah, I thought I read that it ended up being like a 4-point play or something. But yeah,
did it?
Either way, bro, it's crazy the kind of stuff that Harden's really getting that Jordan treatment.
Dude, Mike didn't get treatment like that. Mike did not get. It's not even close, bro. The league is soft as a whole. Everybody would agree with that, as opposed to the era of basketball when I grew up. I'm a little bit older, I guess, but
yeah,
the league is soft.
It was hard-nosed.
Exactly. I mean, there was a real center. There's a guy who really played with his back to the basket, and you had to. If you're gonna go to the hoop, you better be able to dunk over him because the dude was gonna clean your clock.
Yeah, he was about to clothesline you.
And you know what? Not getting off track, but that's what I've said about these guys is that dudes like Charles Oakley and these other guys that are so dependent on getting to the rack to get to the free throw line, or LeBron James 5 years ago would just come charge like a freight train, trying to go coast to coast, come charge on lane, nobody would get in his way. Like, dude, Charles Oakley would have clotheslined you and you would have had to shoot jump shots.
Right. No, for sure. I agree with you. So yeah, man, get us started on that Denver side of things, bro.
Jokic is playing well, man, and you and I talked yesterday, and I said, the guy that nobody's talking about yesterday was Jokic, and I had some exposure to him, and I looked down, and the dude had like 25 fantasy points with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, and that was kind of it. I mean, I think he ended up with 40, 42. So he got 25 of those in the first quarter, and then 17 in the remaining 3 quarters. So. Jokic is playing well right now, but 10-7 is steep. It's you got him and Embiid. You got another situation where you got Jokic going against Whiteside. The splits on Whiteside are real. We've always talked about Whiteside's a better player at home than he is on the road. So I'm not going to mess with Jokic. Gary Harris did leave that game last night with a hamstring injury. He's a game time decision. I think this may be more trying to hold out hope that Gary Harris hasn't once again hurt something that's going to cause him to miss significant time. Hamstring on a back-to-back, it would have to have been like he got a cramp yesterday or something like that. I can't see a tweak where he comes back and plays today. If he is out, that opens up all kinds of value, as we know, with guys like Torrey Craig, Monte Morris. Monte Morris would probably be my favorite play at 3.7. And that's why talking about Van Vliet in comparison. If there's Gary Harris is a no-go, I think I would really be wanting to play somebody like a Monte Morris at a 3.7 as opposed to, my point guard 2 spot with a Van Vliet. So this is a wait and see. I think Jamal Murray is going to come out and have a really, really good basketball game today. The guy, he's been playing really well at 7.6, 35 minutes, 26.8 real points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists is what he's averaged over his last 5 basketball games. It's a really good spot, again, for him against this Miami team. So Jamal Murray is probably the number 1 target. I like Millsap as being an under-the-radar play today. I really do, especially if Gary Harris doesn't play. I think it opens up a few more minutes for him there. Rotationally, they'll leave Millsap out there for a little bit longer. So, that's really where I'm at. See what happens. There's some value if Harris doesn't play. Jamal Murray, I'm fine with. And then look and see if that gives a bump maybe to a Millsap.
Yeah, man, on the Miami side of things, like, I'm not trying to be broad or nothing, but I'm not really interested in him. I mean, you look at, okay, you got Dragic out, so you would think, okay, Dragic out, we're going to get a bump from some people. So, a guy that I always look at, in the past couple of years, it's always been Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson just isn't getting the minutes. In my opinion right now, Miami just has too many bodies that they're really trying to play. Tyler Johnson, 24, 25 minutes. We need 25 for him to hit value, and he's got 25 one time in the past 5 games. I guess you could possibly consider him as in play, but now you got Dwayne Wade in play. You got McGruder. I think, did Dion Waiters come back? Let me see. Waiters is yes. He's starting to make his way back. At the small forward spot, you got Josh Richardson. He's a guy that we usually talk about, on the Miami side of things. We really like him. But even him, 7.2 price tag is not a give me price tag. We need 36 just for him to hit cash value. And he's been giving us a solid floor, but he hasn't got us 36 in 6-7 straight games. In his minutes, he's usually a guy we see play 35 to 37 minutes, and even his minutes have been down a little bit. So I just don't know if I like him at this price tag. And then you throw in the fact that Denver is one of the top 3 defensive teams in the league. It's just scary. You got Justice Winslow. He's been playing very well, but look at his price tag, $7,000. We need 35 just for value, just cash value is all we're saying, not even tournament value. And he definitely could get us 35, but do I want to depend on a guy to have a monster game just for him to really hit value for me? I mean, I'm looking for a guy a little bit less expensive on a small forward spot that gives me a little bit better floor, in my opinion. Then as far as the big guys, you got James Johnson is back. Bam, they're working in. Olynyk, they're working in. Then you got Whiteside. Like, I just think this whole Miami team, they're really starting to get healthy. They're really starting to get healthy outside of Jokic, and they just have too many bodies that you could really depend on guys fantasy-wise, in my opinion. Am I wrong about that, or what do you think about that?
So I'll just say this. If you're going to play somebody from Miami tonight, for me, Hassan Whiteside at 7.3 is too cheap. I think that this guy's an $8,000 player. It's probably $700 too cheap for him, and especially at home. Bam has continued to get minutes off the bench, the power forward spot. So, I like him, but let's just use that as the example you're talking about. You've got Bam, you've got Kelly Olynyk, and you've got James Johnson, 3 power forwards, right? So there's 3 guys eating up bench minutes, basically, right? So then you take a look at the guard spot. You got Dwayne Wade, you got Tyler Johnson, you got Derrick Jones Jr., you got Wayne Ellington, now Dion Waiters back. Dion Waiters came back, played 11 minutes, scored 7 points, and it looked like, okay, Waiters is going to play, and he's going to work his way back in the rotation. Waiters said something about that, and Waiters has been shut down the last 2 games, and he hasn't even seen the floor. So, what's going on here? I think the guy that Spoelstra is favoring is Derrick Jones Jr., and that's the guy at 3.9. I will build a few lineups tonight. I can tell you right now where I will put Kelly Oubre, Otto Porter Jr., and I will put Derrick Jones Jr. as my 2 small forwards because I think they're both in really good spots and really solid values today.
Right. Yeah, like I said, it's just a log jam for me. It's just what's really, really
they've got too many players at the same spot, bro. They've got
Yeah, and not even that. Is like they're just deep. Like I mean, they're really really deep, and they like to play all these dudes. You know. Yeah. So moving on, next game we're gonna go to it's gonna be the Minnesota Timberwolves going into OKC to face the Thunder. This game has a 229.5 over under, which is the second highest total on the slate, and OKC is favored by 8 in this one. I'm sorry, this is the third highest over under on the slate. Sorry.
So, I mean, the first guy I'll talk about right off the bat is Andrew Wiggins, and this is a little bit of fool's gold, if you will, because he had played extremely well with he's played extremely well recently, but the factors that go into that were there was no Jeff Teague and there was no Derrick Rose and there was no Robert Covington. So there was a ton of shots to go around, and Andrew Wiggins was really taking over. Jeff Teague now back facilitating the offense. We know that's going to go through Karl Anthony Towns as a primary option. I'm not on Wiggins, but the minutes are there. You could definitely take a look at him sparingly in tournaments. Other than that, I mean, I'm not really interested in the Minnesota side of things. I mean, I'm not. You know, I understand Derrick Rose is out, Robert Covington is out. This guy Okogie, 4.3 price tag, 26.6. I'm not really interested because I don't think he has a good enough floor or a high enough ceiling for me to warrant him in tournaments. Taj Gibson back in that starting lineup without Covington there. Taj Gibson at 4.7 is probably one of my more favorite plays on the Minnesota side. He's just a gritty, solid basketball player that does rebound, gets you putbacks, can block a shot or two. Towns at 11,000, you know, I'd rather spend up elsewhere. And I understand Towns has had some monster games, but understand he's also been a benefactor of making up usage and shots because Rose, Covington, and Teague were all out at one point. So
Bro,
that's really where I'm at with that.
don't play Towns against Steven Adams, bro. Especially if you're getting say you're getting Towns at like 8,500, they're like a dirt cheap price tag.
You
Then
can take a shot.
yeah, but at a premium price tag against Steven Adams, bro, this is 100% stay away. If you play him, then you really got some balls. That's just me personally, how I look at that particular situation. And I just want to reiterate one more time. You talked about Taj Gibson. You liked him. I like him as well. He's underpriced, 4,700. He's a good cash game play. You know, you put him in your lineup, you need about 22, 23 for value, and he's got you at least 23 in 4 of the past 5 games with a little bit of upside. He may not have the monster upside of 7, 8x, but I definitely think he can get you 6x on this price tag and help you pay up elsewhere. Now we move on to the OKC side of things. You look at the obvious guys. First thing first, you got Russell Westbrook, 11.8. He still hasn't reached 12,000, which is mind-boggling to me. And I understand he hasn't had the crazy 70 fantasy point games, but he's been very consistent, you know, doing the Westbrook things, close to averaging a triple-double almost every single night. You know, he's got you at least 51 in 5 of the past 6 games. He's just giving you a really, really good floor. I think that Westbrook definitely is in play. GPP only, but I think you could consider Schroeder. He's had a couple down games, but this guy, I mean, at the end of the day, in my opinion, he's their third best player. When they need him, they give him minutes, and kind of when it's a blowout is usually when his minutes get buzzed off because even though he comes off the bench, they, you know, in a way consider him a starter. He plays down the stretch. He plays almost 30 minutes a game. He's their true 6 man, and they don't give him, you know, the blowout minutes, is what's really kind of about Schroeder. 5.4 though, fair price tag. He does give you a little bit of upside on that price tag. Strictly GPP for me though. And then you got Paul George, man. This guy is playing just as good, if not better, than Westbrook. This guy's an MVP candidate. He's taking his game to the next level, you know, this season. And I like the guy. The thing about him though is, do I really want to pay 10,000? We need 50 just for him to hit value cash wise, and he's got you 50 one time in the past 5 games. I just don't know if the upside's really, really there on this price tag in this matchup. I mean, Paul George definitely can get you 60 fantasy points. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if today's the day that that's going to happen. And then lastly, you got Steven Adams. We talk about Karl Anthony Towns. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. But we know Anthony Towns isn't a very good defender. Adams, I think he can push around Towns. He gives you a solid floor. We need 36 for him to hit value, and he could definitely get us 36 on his price tag and get us, 40 fantasy points. He's probably a little bit more of a GPP, but I like Adams. So I think you just look at the main guys for OKC and Westbrook. You look at Schroeder, strictly GPP. You could look at Paul George, and you look at Adams. You could possibly throw in Jeremiah Grant, but at 5,600 at the power forward spot, I don't know if he's a guy that I really want to look at. So I'm just going to stick to the 4 big names. I'm going to move on.
Cool.
Next game we're going to go to, it's going to be the Sacramento Kings going into Phoenix to face the Suns. This game has a 228 over-under. Sacramento is favored by 3.5 in this one. And, man, you get your favorite team.
Oh, man, and you know what? This is like deja vu right here, man, because we just saw this play out about a month and a half ago. A really juicy matchup. Devin Booker got ruled out. TJ Warren got ruled out. And then this was just an absolute blowout fest. Hopefully this game lives up to the hype. It's only a 3.5-point spread. 229.5 on the over-under here. You got to like that. On the Sacramento side, you can look at it. De'Aaron Fox, 8.2. I like him a lot in this spot. Buddy Hield shooting the ball extremely well. Bogdanovich, saw a stat on him today where in 6 of his last 8 games, the guy has put up at least 15 shots. So just a lot of volume for him at 6.5. Marvin Bagley out. That's a weird deal. Last night they played. News comes out right after the game that Marvin Bagley intends to play. Felt good. This morning the news was he was going to play, get 20, 25 minutes tonight, and now they have ruled him out. They're going to exercise caution. So Bagley is out now, which does open up some minutes for a guy like Acosta Kufos off the bench, or even a Harry Giles as a deep dart GPP play. But for me, let's keep it simple. You got to like Willie Cauley-Stein. You got to like De'Aaron Fox. And you got to like Buddy Hield and Bogdanovich. If you want to play Bjelica, I'm okay with it at 6.1. His prices come down about $400 from yesterday's slate at 6.5. He's getting 26, 27 minutes a game, and he is contributing in all of the statistical categories. But for me, I really like De'Aaron Fox in this spot. We saw him come out, and he was the reason why they blew the doors off Phoenix the last time they were in Phoenix. So for me, De'Aaron Fox at 8.2 in this spot seems really, really fair.
Yeah, man. On the Phoenix side of things, the biggest news is that we got, Devin Booker's probably going to be out. We know when Devin Booker's out, we know what happens, man. So first thing first, Josh Jackson, if he's the one that enters that starting lineup, which, was happening earlier in the year, 4.1, you just lock and load this dude in your cash games and you move on. You don't overthink it. He's dirt cheap. Price tag definitely came down. We know Josh Jackson, he could definitely get lost out there and sometimes, not do his thing. But we also know he has 10 times upside on this price tag, 4,100. So I like Josh Jackson a lot if he's in that starting lineup for Devin Booker. Another guy who's too cheap that gets a big-time boost is going to be TJ Warren. He's their second-best player, well, arguably, between him and the young rookie in Ayton. He's their second-best player, in my opinion. He has upside, and, 4 of the past 5 games, he's got you at least 31 fantasy points. That's what we need on this price tag. And now you take Devin Booker and all his usage and his shots out the mix. I think this is a spot that TJ Warren can have an absolute monster game. I like TJ Warren a lot. I like Josh Jackson a lot. And then lastly, you can look at the young rookie DeAndre Ayton. The price tag is starting to get up a little bit, but the guy is playing very, very well. Outside the one dud versus the Clippers, the guy's just been killing it. He's got you at least 34 fantasy points in 5 of the past 6 games. He's playing well. So I like Ayton. I definitely think that he's going to get a little bit more of a usage bump as well with no Booker. So I really, Melton, some people are going to consider him, and I understand. But at 4,500, he's just a guy that's not really giving me no upside, and his minutes have been all over the place. So I'm literally just sticking to the 3 main guys, TJ Warren, Josh Jackson. Absolutely love both of those guys. And then you could throw in the young guy in Ayton as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Next game we're going to go to. Hey, bro, am I wrong, though? Josh Jackson, if he's starting, just lock him in your cash games?
Josh Jackson is an absolute lock if he starts tonight. We haven't projected his starting. I'm fairly sure that's what will happen. The only guy that I'd mention on top of who you didn't mention.
And then what do you
mention Bridges?
I didn't mention Bridges. Bridges, I was kind of borderline on.
Bridges is a solid tournament play tonight. Bridges is another guy that you can add into the small forward position, and especially a small forward number 2 spot tonight. Otto Porter, Derek Jones Jr., Bridges. Small forward is you do not have to pay up at small forward tonight. There's a lot of good value at small forward tonight.
And I ain't gonna lie, bro. The more I look at this, though, I'm a TJ Warren fan. I know 6,200. You're like you don't want to pay, but 6,200 is really not bad, bro. I really like TJ Warren.
I'm including Warren in that because that's not paying up. That's a borderline value play at 6.2. I mean, if the guy was 5'8", he'd be in that value tier. So
yeah,
I mean, 6.2 is $1,000, at least $1,000 too cheap. The guy's a $7,000 player.
right.
And then without Devin Booker tonight, who's listed as doubtful just a little while ago.
And then just to kind of quickly touch on, it shows right here in our news feed. The last game, Booker exited only after playing 12 minutes, and Warren's the one that stepped up, killed it, led the team in scoring. They always talk about it, man. Warren is the one that goes off when Booker's out. Warren and Jackson. I'm telling you, keep an eye on that news, man. All right. So moving on to the next game, we're going to go to New York Knicks going into Golden State to face the Warriors. This game has a 233 over-under. Golden State's favored by 17. To make things even worse, the Knicks are on the second end of a back-to-back where they just lost to the Lakers. As much as I don't want to say this, I think this game's almost going to be a stay away for me just because I think it's going to get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, I don't mind getting a little exposure to the Knicks in this spot.
Good prices, correct?
Huh?
I said, the Knicks, you could get a little exposure to the Knicks because they're good prices.
They are, and they've as inconsistent as they were throughout the majority of the first half of the season with playing time. They've really tightened up this rotation with Hardaway, Moutier, Vonleh, Knox, and Cornette's kind of the odd piece of that. It seems that Cornette and Enes Kanter are the ones that are now splitting up the minutes. Mitchell Robinson is out, so that should continue. Trey Burke, if you want to take a flyer on Trey Burke in tournaments tonight, I won't call you crazy because I actually think if people are looking at the stat sheets and game logs, you're going to stay away from Trey Burke and wonder why the hell should I play him. I know a lot of pros that were on Trey Burke yesterday. It didn't pan out, but this is the second half of a back-to-back, and I would not be shocked if Trey Burke has a monster game tonight. And when I say monster, at a $4,000 price point, wouldn't be surprised to see him go 5-6x tonight in Golden State, especially if this game blows out and having it on the second end of a back-to-back. So Noah Vonleh is a guy that I really like in the spot. I feel like Vonleh, he knows his team, having played in Portland. He knows this Golden State team. Golden State, they're not great against the power forward / center position because, they play Draymond and Kevin Looney. They don't have Boogie Cousins playing yet. So, I don't mind Vonleh. But other than that, look, I don't know how much exposure I want to get, but I do like Kevin Knox at 5.9. He's playing minutes, like I said. He's playing the most minutes out of any of these starters. He seems to be the one guy that they are definitely very committed to and getting playing time to help him develop. And that's really the guy that I would look to plug in the majority of my lineups as far as getting exposure to the Knicks.
Yeah, man. And then on the War side of things, I mean, I'm going to be honest, it's a stay away for me. I'm not paying 10-4 for Curry. Klay Thompson, borderline 7,500. I don't know if I want to pay that. Durant, 10.3. I don't know if I want to pay that. The guy that I do like, though, is Draymond. He's still underpriced. Draymond is an $8,000 player, and he's barely 7,000. He faced the Knicks already earlier this year, played 32 minutes, and actually played him. He played him 32 minutes. He got you 36 fantasy points. So, I mean, on this price tag, that's what we need for value is 36 fantasy points. If I was going to play any of the Warriors' big stars, I think Draymond's the guy that you put in and he gives you a solid floor because he's just underpriced. The other guys are priced fairly. And don't get me wrong, these guys could definitely get there. I'm just really, really scared. I mean, this game has a 17-point spread. The Knicks just lost to the Lakers last night. Then they have to fly into Golden State to face the best team in the league. Like, I just think this game's going to get out of hand really, really, really quick. And that's
the Blazers. You mean the Blazers?
I'm sorry, what?
You mean they lost to the Blazers?
No, New York played. They played the Lakers last night.
They played at Portland.
Did they?
The Lakers played in Dallas.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I got confused. I know both of them played yesterday. Sorry, Mom. Yeah, because I had some New York. I came sixth last night in a tournament, and I had Moutier and Von Lay in the very last second. They pushed me up, and I ended up coming sixth. Made some money, so I knew they played. And for some reason, I thought they played the Lakers. Oh, it was the game before that they played the Lakers. Okay, gotcha. But either way, it's the same story. They're on the second end of a back-to-back. Yeah, man, I just don't know what to do with the Warriors. I'm just really gonna look at probably Draymond, and that's really it for me, man. If you got anything to say on the Golden State side, go ahead, bro.
Draymond. This is a lock spot for me for Draymond. This is a triple-double spot for me for Draymond. The Knicks are terrible against centers. Draymond, we know, plays that center spot quite a bit. They do open the game up with Looney, but usually don't come back with Looney until the start of the third quarter. So I love Draymond in this spot. I think 7-1, like you said, is way too cheap. The thing that I'm going to say is this, though, okay? Regardless of what the spread is, regardless of what the outcome is, the Warriors will play 3 quarters. They will play their rotation for 3 quarters. And if they enter the fourth quarter and they're up by 20, that's kind of been their theme, is they try to end the game in 3 quarters really and rest these guys. So they will play heavy minutes and they seem to get their minutes in those 3 quarters. So they'll adjust the rotation, accordingly and make sure that they get somewhat close to their minutes. I could see all these guys still playing 30 minutes tonight. When I say all these guys, I'm talking about their big 4. Right. But you're right. It's 100% scary because that monster game could get stopped.
Give me price tags outside of Draymond.
Not like I think Clay's fair, dude. I think anytime you get Clay, I honestly think for the last 3 years, Klay Thompson has earned the right to be an $8,000 player. We talk about all the time. The guy is the model of consistency, really has a solid floor. I don't mind paying 7.5 for him. I know we're used to getting him sub-7, like the 68, but I think 7.5 is so fair for this guy who can put up 35 fairly easy. And if he gets hot, we all know what happens.
Right. No, I get you for sure. So let's move on. Last game we're going to go with is going to be the Charlotte Hornets going into LA to face the Clippers. This game has a 231.5 over under, and the Clippers are favored by 6.5 in this one.
Jeremy Lamb will play tonight. Came out about 5 minutes ago. So we should be updating that pretty quick to have him projected in the starting lineup. That definitely cuts into Devontae Graham and his value. The center spot, I called it. The last time we did a video, I told you guys to load up Biyombo at a minimum price tag. And sure enough, Biyombo came through on that night with 22 fantasy points. So Biyombo has been playing. He's had a even bigger game than that. I think he had a 10 rebound, 12-point game or something like that recently. And now he's in the starting lineup. Willie Hernangomez at 5.1. Here's the thing with Hernangomez, right? If he starts tonight, if that gets switched up and Hernangomez starts, I don't mind him at 5.1. I'm not sure I want to play him at 5.1 off the bench. And I get the upside. I get that, he came off the bench. I get that Biyombo could get in foul trouble. My problem is I would much rather play Hernangomez going against Marcin Gortat than I would play Hernangomez going against Harrell. Harrell will eat his lunch. Harrell's a beast. So I would much rather play Hernangomez, if he was starting. And I think this is a good spot for Biyombo as well at 4,000 against Gortat. Gortat's a skilled big man, we know that. But Biyombo's a shot blocker. He's just long, lanky, gets in the way, pulls rebounds down, and the way he scores the basketball is really on second chance putback points. So I don't mind Biyombo. I absolutely love Kemba Walker tonight. I think people will look at Kemba Walker and be like, on that, almost $9,000 price tag. But this is a really, really good spot for Kemba Walker out in LA. I just think my gut feeling is my gut play of the day is Kemba Walker. I just feel, he kind of dudded against Phoenix in his last game, and that was a real crush spot for him there. He ended up making it up towards the end there, but still really didn't come through. I think if people check Kemba Walker game logs, they're going to be like, I don't want to pay $9,000 for this guy. I love Kemba Walker tonight, and I would much rather play Kemba against the Clippers than I would Steph Curry against the Knicks.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm definitely with you on that one. I think it's going to be a pretty close game for the most part. So, I mean, on the Clippers side of things, I mean, I'm going to be looking at 4 guys. I'll start with the guy who I think is my favorite play. It's Lou Williams. We've seen this in the past.
Man,
What happened?
this dude, I mean, go ahead. I'm just saying Lou Williams. I mean, this dude's on fire.
Doc Rivers, he's shown us in the past. It doesn't matter who they have on this team, okay? Doc Rivers is going to play Lou Williams his minutes. Okay, that's it. He's their best scorer. He's the guy that gets his no matter what. He gets unlimited shots. He can do his thing. The thing I like about him as well is he's been doing a little bit of everything. He's getting, 3 or 4 rebounds a game, getting 3 or 4 assists a game, a couple of defensive stats here and there. 6,800, you may think he's overpriced, but I actually think this is a fair price tag. For value, we need about 33. And like you said, he's been on absolute fire. I think this is an awesome spot for Lou Williams. He's my favorite play on the Clippers side of things. And then I'm going to throw 3 other guys in there, but all these other guys are strictly GPP, whereas I feel that Lou Williams is safe for cash games. You got Gallinari. His price tag is $7,500. That's the thing that I don't like about him. He definitely has the upside. We know that. He's getting his minutes. He's a good play. But $7,500 is not a give me price tag. We need about 37 for value. He's got us that 3 times in 6 games. So he can definitely get us there. It's just not a give me price tag. I don't know how much upside he has on it. But I definitely think he is in play. And then you talk about the 2 big guys. You got Tobias Harris. The thing about Tobias Harris is he started the season off really, really hot. And he's been a little slowed down a little bit, definitely. And he's kind of been up and down a little bit. I mean, if we pay $7,700 for a guy and he gets us a 23, a 27, or 23, even a 28, even this, 33, it's going to kill you, to be honest, because at this price tag, we need about 37, 38 for value. That's just cash value. So for me, he's strictly GPP and Harrell as well, $7,600. He's only $100 less than Tobias Harris, and the guy hasn't touched 30 minutes in I don't know how long. 2 of the past 5 games, he got 27 minutes, but then the other 2, he got 20, 22, and 22. And on this price tag, it's like, I just feel like these guys are overpriced, and it's not worth it in cash games because I feel the floor is not really there. But in tournaments, they both have 40 fantasy point upside, so I could definitely see you throwing them in tournaments. But like I said, for me on the Clipper side of things, I'm looking at Lou Williams, and that's about it for me.
I like Harrell too, man. I think this is a spot where you see Harrell just dominate, especially Willie Hernangomez. Here's the thing, right? When you talk about Charlotte and you talk about rebounding, there's guys that they've got that in the past, previous seasons we liked in certain situations, especially a situation without a Cody Zeller. You would look at a Kaminsky, MIA, right? You've got Biyombo and you've got Hernangomez. And then Marvin Williams is not really he's not known for being a great rebounder, right? He's not an inside scorer. He's more of a perimeter, knock down a 3, play solid defense type of a big guy. I think that, man, I think Harrell and Lou Williams, you could put those. I think you could build a lot of lineups tonight with a Kemba Walker, Lou Williams, and Harrell, and then try to get, you got a lot of late game exposure there to let you move up some leaderboards late, and then build the other spots out with earlier exposure.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, I definitely think there is some spots here. I just don't. I think they're just a little bit more tournament spots. Is all I was trying to get to with that. But yeah, man, that's it. 8 games in a nutshell. Man, I like it. I definitely like it. I think that today.
I'm gonna tell you something, bro. Going through the slate as we've gone through it now. This really seems like this is the night to go balanced. It really does seem like it's the night to go balanced. There's a couple of really solid value plays out there, obviously depending on news, with the Josh Jackson and stuff like that. But I could see really filling up your roster with guys that are in the $7,000 to $8,000 price range tonight and doing extremely well.
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, man, I think that's it. I think that's all I got for you guys. Thank you very much, Jeremy, for helping us out with this video. Appreciate it big time. And yeah, man, I will be back in a little bit with my NBA core plays for the day. Give you 5 guys I think that you definitely should have in your lineup. So be on the lookout for that. And that's it, man. Good luck to you guys in your contest tonight, and peace out.